Why my system started again slow? Not understanding. Okay, so here it is. What is an operating system? So we'll have to change the color. Yeah. There is a picture I will tell you. So yesterday I given this, I told already. So we'll see guys, this is my system, my computer, my laptop, my mobile phone. Okay, so it is a device, means it contains a hardware, right? It is a contains a hardware, means it contains a CPU, it contains a RAM, of course it contains motherboard and motherboard components. Okay, like a BIOS and all components, we have devices. So another thing, like we have hard disk or SSD to store operating system or store data. But you want to work with this system. You want to work with this thing. How can you work? You want to give instructions, or you want to run an application. You want to give instructions. You want to give run an applications. You want to play games, right? So you need a user interface. To anything, you need an interface, and you should know the language, how to speak the computer language, but you don't know. It means someone is required, something is required in between user and the hardware. Who is the person? Not person, thing is operating system. This operating system interact with your hardware and also runs your applications, games, commands, and provide a user interface to the user. Okay. So the operating system part, which interacts with your hardware, that part we call it as a kernel. Any operating system has a kernel. Anything, it's an operating system means it has a kernel, and it is also has a shell, which actually runs your commands, applications, run games, providing interface to your user. So user side shell, hardware side, it's a kernel. So what is this operating system? Is nothing but a program or a software which act as an interface between end user and computer hardware. Every computer must have at least one operating system to run other programs. You want to run a Java program or Python program, or maybe you want to give one command, you must require some operating system. Okay. Applications, maybe like it's a Microsoft Word, or maybe it is Excel, or it can be your Google Chrome browser. So whatever it is, it needs some environment in which it can run and perform tasks. Operating system help you to communicate with the computer without knowing how to speak computer language. Okay. So what is a computer language? Binary language. So you don't know binary language or assembly language, this kind of stuff, you don't know low level languages. So a lot of people are using computer, not all from not all, everybody is not learning this binary language, right? Most of the people don't know. So how they can able to use? We have an operating system, so we can easily operate. And mainly Windows based operating systems are user friendly, means it is a GUI based, so you simply can go and select, open, run an application without knowing about much details in an operating system. Okay. So here is a simple picture. You can see this is. So I'm trying to put this picture here. It's not any blocking actually, so you can easily access the link. Okay, so I written hardware is a downwards, but it is reverse. Okay, hardware, CPU, memory, hardware, operating system like a Windows or Linux or Apple or kind of stuff, and end user. So as I said, operating system mainly two parts. One is kernel part, another one is a shell part. Kernel part interact with the hardware, shell part interact with the user. It's light color. Okay. We have to draw this one. The drawing is again take time. No problem. So why this round? It's just a representation only, guys. It does not mean always should be in a round kind of stuff. Okay. Like inside a symbolic representation. Inside of this one, inside of this one kind of stuff. So I have a hardware here. And this is a kernel part which interacts with your hardware. Okay. And on the kernel part, we have a shell. So user interact with the shell with the user interface. So you are getting a user interface. So in a shell, we are running our commands. So what are the commands we think it is? Yeah. So running commands, games, applications. So all these things we are running. So you want to do programming, also we need this infrastructure. This is also called as operating system architecture, or if you are learning Linux or Unix operating system, this is the one of the very important diagram. Okay, one of the very important diagram. Okay. So what is this kernel will do? Manages, interact with the hardware. This kernel manages this hardware components, devices like disk management. It will do process management. It will do network management, memory management. These are all kernel part of operating system. Shell part of operating system interact with the user and provide a user interface, run an applications. Okay, so in Windows we don't know what is the shell name and kernel name, like because of you cannot manage. I think you are already attendance is marked, Abhishek. Okay. Okay. So if you are using a shell like a Unix or Linux kind of operating system, so you can manage both kernel and shell. But so the different shells used because kernel is common in any type of Linux operating system and Unix operating system. The shell part may varies. So currently in a Linux and Unix, we are using Bourne again shell, bash shell, that is called a bash shell. So previously this bash shell, there is a Bourne shell, SH. And of course there is a different shells, T shell, C shell, K shell kind of stuff. Yeah. Okay. And for a shell, already I told it provide a user interface. So generally user interfaces are CLI, GUI and TUI, terminal based or a text based interface. What is command line interface? You can work with your system using commands. So like I want to create a file, I want to see what's going on in my PC, I want to run some application, I do with the command line. So that is a command line interface. GUI, I can do normally with a graphical window. So I can able to create a file, I delete a file, or maybe I open an application, I use an application in a graphical window. Okay. Up to here, okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Next one is these operating systems are there. So different types of operating systems are there. Not one single type, so different type of operating system. This is simple operating system, okay, and network operating system. And types of operating system, we have a different types of operating system. In one category, it is simple operating system. In another one, it is network operating system. Okay. Simple operating system is like a desktop based operating system. It's like a desktop based operating system. Example, Microsoft DOS operating system, Windows XP operating system, Windows 10 operating system, Ubuntu desktop operating system. It's a desktop based operating system. Network operating system. Network operating system are like a Linux based operating system. Okay. Desktop operating systems are a Linux based operating system. Like somewhere it is. Okay, network operating system is a server operating systems. So what is this desktop and server? So I'm using desktop. I will access a web browser. I will play games. I run some applications, but I'm not providing any services to anyone, right? So it is a desktop operating system. Network operating system provide different type of services, different type of services to the users. Okay. So, for example, we are getting a DHCP service, DNS service, Active Directory service, authentication service, web services, mail services. These are all provided from servers with a server operating system. The server operating system. Okay. SOS and YS, simple operating system, network operating system. And other type of operating systems also there. So based on users and task base. Okay, single user, single task, single user, multitask, multi-user, multitask operating system. What is single user, single task? You can run only one task at a time. In that operating system, only one user can log in at a time. Only one task you can able to perform at a time. Example, Microsoft DOS operating system. Single user, single task. Single user, multitask. In your Windows operating system, either it is Windows desktop or Windows server operating system, only one user can log in at a time. So currently I log in with one user, so it's my user. If I want to log in with other user in the same system, how to log out from here, then I can able to log in with other user. But I can run multitasking. So currently I have opened web browser with multiple tabs. Microsoft Teams is running, Paintbrush is running, WhatsApp is running, Google, Microsoft Edge browser is running. Some background services also running, right? That's a multiple task I can able to perform, but only one user at a time can able to log in. Example, any Windows operating system, either Windows 10 or Windows Server operating system, comes under single user multitasking. Multi-user multitask. Multi-user multitask. Okay. What is a multi-user multitask? Multiple users can able to log in to single system at a time. Either physically they can able to log in or remotely they can able to log in. And they can do multiple tasks at a time. Both foreground, backgrounds wise, multiple tasks we can able to do it. So multi-user and multitasking. So guys, this is my remote Linux machine and try to connect with the SSH protocol. You can see SSH protocol. I am connecting remote Linux machine with their IP address. Now it's open. Good. So I'm trying to log in with a root user. Yeah, login. Like this. See, I log into my remote base. Okay. Want to know what are the other users are there? There is a username called admin1. These are new users are added. Okay, admin1 username is there. Stream IP 172.16.194.183. See it is. I log in here in a root. I log in here admin1. Two users currently log in through network. Okay. So it's a multitasking and multi-user. Got it, guys? What is single user, single task, multi-user, multitask, single user, multitask, SOS and NYS. Okay. Other than this one, there is a different other type of operating systems also there. Real-time operating system, mobile operating system. I'm going to add one more thing is here, distributed operating system for a distributed applications purpose. I'm not telling about anything here. I'm just telling about one or two points about one point only real-time operating system. Yes, if you look at, you are using a Windows operating system. I am also using same Windows operating system. Maybe Linux operating system also used by multiple users in a different type of hardware, right? I'm using a Lenovo Intel processor. Someone use AMD processor. Okay, someone use some other kind of, but operating system become common. So commonly used operating system. Okay, for a multiple type of laptops or a desktops or a computer systems. So maybe it can be for TV or maybe IoT devices also. Operating system is most commonly used. It's controlled and proprietary by that organization only. But real-time operating system is not that one, guys. Based on your hardware, operating system will design for that particular purpose. What purpose of this particular hardware is there, they will design that operating system. Okay, so you will implement as per our requirements. For example, I'm using Windows operating system. Maybe I don't require certain features. Maybe I require some kind of features which I have to buy again. Okay, or maybe it is not available in the or not supported by that operating system. So that is not works in certain areas. So what it is, so depends upon your hardware, operating system will be designed. It is suitable for that hardware only. You know, satellites use a separate operating system which we not available in a commercial outside. They designed and used for that purpose. So why it is? It is reduce lot of unnecessary features. So common features are required. No? For example, I don't require a front camera in mobile. But when I go to a phone buying a mobile, so compulsory it will comes with a front camera. Right? Certain apps not required in your mobile phone, but it is comes with that apps. You can't do anything. So designing a real-time operating system means it's designed for the specific hardware and specific task purpose only. Distributed operating system is actually it's a bunch of systems work together for a certain purpose or a single task purpose. Then we use distributed operating system. Already I told I don't go too much in that one. mobile operating systems. Even mobile phones also having an operating system that most of the people know now because of Android and Apple phones. Apple with the iOS. Earlier days we have a Nokia mobile phone. That operating system in that one is Symbian. Samsung uses Tizen. Normally, you buy a Samsung mobile, you will get an Android only. But Tizen is their Samsung proprietary operating system. Symbian is a Nokia proprietary operating system. BlackBerry phones are there now, not a new version. Even new one is also fail in market. But olden days, so BlackBerry is one of the very beautiful mobile phone. That time we may not know about BlackBerry, but that time it is we can send the emails through a mobile phone. Okay, it has a QWERTY keyboard. Okay, QWERTY keyboard. So it's like more passionate people are more passionate about to buy a BlackBerry. A separate bandwidth is allocated for a BlackBerry also. But now it has become utter flap outside. Why? Because of Android effect. Okay, so like this is BlackBerry. BlackBerry phones use BlackBerry OS. Earlier days HTC mobiles, Nokia, some editions, okay, uses this AT&T type of mobiles use Windows operating system in it. Then later on days, there also change, but Nokia came into market again with a smartphone. So Nokia um, taken with the merge with this Microsoft, the Nokia Luminis series came with a Windows operating system, Windows Phone operating system. Of course, it is also not withstand in the market longer time. It's went away. So currently Windows 11 mobile operating system is also available, not much in the market. Okay. It's a small thing, guys. About a desktop operating system and server operating system. So, what is the difference between desktop operating system and server operating system? One of our student asked me this question, so I added this information also. Anyway, we'll go to the server and services. That time we will see what it is. But now also see. In desktop operating system, you can use applications, you can play games, you can do some data processing, multimedia, audio, video kind of stuff. Okay, so you do web browsing, we do programming kind of stuff also. And it is a client PC. So Windows desktop operating systems are usually act like a client to the server, or also it is called a end user device. Okay, end user device. Network operating system is example for a server OSs. What is a server OS? On server OS, you can install server applications. In server OS, we have a built-in server features are there, like a IIS, Internet Information Service, remote routing and remote access services, DHCP, DNS kind of services also. Okay, Active Directories, by installing certain packages. Also, this server operating system you become a particular server. Okay. So server OSS is supporting to install server applications like a Microsoft Exchange kind of stuff. Server operating system has built-in certain features to become a server by installing applications. By installing certain application or package, it becomes a server. There's a type of servers are there in the sense of services, DHCP server, DNS server, web server, VPN server, file server, mail server, authentication server, proxy server. remote desktop server, deployment server, database server. You take a server and install a Oracle database in it, it becomes database server. You take a server and install Microsoft Exchange application in it, it becomes mail server. Okay. You install a Tomcat, or maybe you install a Nginx, okay, or you install Apache HTTPD in a machine, so it become a web server. Okay, so like that, so you install built-in role like IIS, Internet Information Service, or maybe you install a DHCP or DNS, then automatically it become that particular servers only. So here it is server provide service to clients. Server provide a service to the clients. Different type of servers, different type of services. Services to client. So desktop, you take a service, server provide a service. Guys, understand up to here?
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you one more point and then we'll take small break and we'll get back to the, we'll go to the certain things about either we will discuss about certain things in a Windows operating system, or I will tell about a server and services part. Okay. This is very simple point is here. What is a difference between Windows and Linux? Guys, if you are possible, try to find a difference between Windows and Mac operating system. Mac, Apple laptop desktop. Okay, so only basic points only, not required architecture points. Okay, even here also I'm telling basic points. Windows operating system is not an open source, whereas a Linux operating system is open source. Linux operating system is not a proprietary.
Sir, what is the meaning of open source? What do
Very
you
good,
mean by this?
very good, very good. That's the original question. Open source. Okay, I have an application or a program or application or operating system. How it will be created? By programming in it, right? I build an application, or maybe I build an operating system or build a software. So how it is built? By coding it, like programming it, right? There is a code. Okay, so that code we call it as a source code. Okay, the how we build the internally we have a code is there, no, that is called a source code. So some people will log this code inside and they will give as a package application. So you install a package and use an application. Install a package and you can use that application, right? Or operating system. You cannot modify anything in this program because it is a purely locked. Okay, the source code is not available to anyone. You take an application, install application, use the application. That's it. You cannot modify or you cannot develop that application or an operating system because source code is lack. What is a open source? So they kept this source code in public. Like you take OpenStack, source code is available to anyone. So open source applications, open source operating system, the source code means the main program, how they build that one. So the main program is become available to everyone. So I will take this source code. I will take the source code and I develop this source code and become another type of application or operating system. So I can able to distribute it. So there is a two licensing. One is, sorry, there is a license part is there. GPL, General Public License. General Public License. So this license will give the rights to use open source code and you can modify and you can distribute it. Okay, that is called as open source. The Linus Torvalds taken a small part of Unix kernel, small part of Unix kernel and developed the Linux kernel This is a kernel.org, just site where you can able to download freely the Linux kernel. You can download this Linux kernel into your system and you want to develop this kernel and build your own Linux based operating system and you want to distribute it, you can do it. Okay, so Linus Torvalds actually taken a piece of code from Unix kernel and develop a Linux kernel. So actually Linux means it's a kernel part of operating system. The original Linux operating system developed by different organizations. Okay. Source, the main source code of a application or a program or maybe it is a operating system is available to everyone. So Linus Torvald using a Unix kernel, so that's it is called Linux. Linus Torvald plus Unix. Okay, and it is a non-proprietary, means no owner for a Linux based operating system. You can take it and develop it and distribute it. There is a Microsoft not a open source, but the Microsoft operating system is not available to anyone. Okay, it is a proprietary of Microsoft. Windows operating systems are a proprietary of Microsoft. So a Linux operating system, powerful CLI, less GUI. People uses very less GUI part of Linux. Mostly they interact with the Linux in CLI. So like I have opened and showed a Linux environment through, this is the called CLI. I want to see what is the directory content, ls. I want to see the date, so date command. Okay, like this it will come. In Windows is a GUI based, main interface is GUI only. CLI is a very slightly used. Okay, so Microsoft distributed the Windows based operating systems. In Linux operating system is distributed by different organizations. Example, Ubuntu is from Linux only. CentOS, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Debian, Fedora, BlackTrack OS, Kali Linux. These are all the distributions of Linux environment. Okay. In mostly Linux is completely case sensitive. Even for files and commands, also it is file sensitive. Linux, Windows, mostly it is not a case sensitive. It's a open type. To use a Windows-based operating system, you need a paid license. Means you want to use Windows 10 Home Edition, you need a Windows 10 license is required. And here it is, most of the Linux distributions are free licenses as per GPL and GNU. GNU means GNU not Unix. GNU means GNU not Unix. It's a free license, mostly anyone can able to distribute and anyone can able to access it. Virus free. Why it is a virus free? Why? Because of it's not virus free exactly, guys, but most of the virus in a Windows based viruses are created and it is won't react in a Linux environment. Okay, it won't damage in a Linux environment. Okay. Okay, so like a registries Win32 environments .exe like a self-executable methods are there in the Windows, but it is not there in a Linux. And most of the viruses created for attacking Windows-based systems. So Linux-based system attacking viruses are very less. Desktop OS and server OSs from Windows operating system. So Windows desktop is there, Windows server is also there. Like Windows 10 is a desktop, Windows Server 2019 is a server operating system. Linux is Unix. Mostly we use for a server purpose only, very less desktop. Like Ubuntu desktop is a desktop. Also we can use it as a server also. Windows is more user friendly. So without learning so many things, without going to a special training, you can use Windows operating system, generally Windows based system, because desktop wise, not server wise. Linux is basically server based and you use a Linux means you have some training and compulsory a professional training is required. Okay, any administrator is is an admin account, and here it is root is our admin account. Single user, single task, multi-user, multitask. Single user, multitask is a Windows, multi-user, multitask is Linux. Because of Windows and Linux, there is a GUI. Okay, in Windows and Linux, we have a in Linux, in Windows, we have a GUI kind of stuff. In Linux, it's mostly it is CLI based. So Linux is less hardware footprint, whereas Windows more hardware footprint. Means to run a Windows system, we need a more hardware things like a CPU, RAM utilization is there, CPU utilization is more. Okay, disk utilization is also more. Whereas Linux, it will consume very less resources. Less hardware footprint means it consumes less hardware resources. It's okay.
Okay, sir.
Also try for a few things. Difference between Windows and MacBooks. Difference between Android phone and iPhone. Small differences, basic differences, not operating system or architecture differences not required. User differences, user-wise differences. Okay, take a small break. Come back in a 420 or 425 max. We'll see other topic after that.